Hey guys, so tomorrow is EarthX, huh? The Great Black Sky Event. Well, so they say. So what do they have planned, huh? I've been doing some research. I've been doing a bunch of research. If I can get my words out of my mouth, we can actually talk about them. Yeah, so EarthX, what is it? What is this bullshit they are pulling tomorrow? Emergency all-sector response transnational hazard exercise. Do you like how they trademarked that bullshit? Like, who the fuck is gonna steal that from you? You fucking twats. Mission. EarthX is designed to improve community resilience to large-scale, long-duration power outages through multi-sector exercises. You know, God, that just makes my antenna just go do. Yeah, you guys know that song. So what do they have to say here? What do they have to say? Today's lifeline infrastructures are interconnected and resourced on unprecedented scales, with supply chains spanning the nation and increasingly the world. With this growing integration and global reach, they have brought us remarkable capabilities at a price. Concerns have grown over the potential for severe malicious and natural black sky hazards associated with subcontinent scale long-duration power outages. Yeah, we're worried about you doing some long-duration power outages on our asses. That's what we worry about. So, what is EarthX? What is EarthX? They don't ever really say what is EarthX. It's an evolving, distributed, collaborative, partner-developed exercise designed to meet this need. Hosted by EIS Council. Well, who is EIS Council? We know they're the Electric Infrastructure Security Council, but who the fuck are they? I found this video of them talking about this shit.
We are only one act of madness away from a social cataclysm, unlike anything our country has ever known.
EMP is one of a small number of threats that could hold at risk the continued existence of U.S. civil society.
You want to think of that as a hurricane in space.
Just one violent active region on the sun can cause essentially continent-wide, perhaps even planetary scale impacts to our critical infrastructure.
As Dr. Lubchenco said earlier, it's not a question of if, but it's a question of when.
The likelihood of a severe geomagnetic event capable of crippling our electric grid is 100%.
we would be facing a public safety, a public health environment, a requirement to provide support to our citizens that would be unprecedented.
There will be no supply of drinking water, no food, no gasoline, no transportation, no communication, no medical care.
Emergency services, government services, banking, finance.
I want to say, and I want to say it very clearly and right up front, a solar magnetic disturbance, electromagnetic pulse effect on our grids is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. And as I see it, and from the study and research we've conducted, civilization is entirely unprepared for this eventuality.
Governments and corporations are used to dealing with crises by experiencing them and gradually learning how to respond. EMP and severe space weather are in a different category. We're talking about a black swan event which is not effectively survivable.
What we've got to do is to bring to the attention of the world what is potentially the greatest catastrophe to have hit the world for centuries.
We're finally starting to get beyond that, where we're no longer admiring the problem. People, leaders, are starting to move forward and take action to fix it.
For this kind of a problem, you have to invest in resilience. You have to take preemptive action. And you cannot retroactively invest in resilience once you see how bad the problem is. We've made a good start. We have an adequate understanding of the problem now to go forward, and initial steps are being taken by government, by industry. We know what has to be done. The question now is, how much time do we have? Will we get what we have to do done in time?
Doesn't tell us a whole lot. Yeah, it just seems like them talking about a lot of stuff that people should be afraid of, right? Yeah, I know. I know. So, it says here, these annual multi-sector international exercises are being developed to evaluate and improve restoration support, preparedness, response, and recovery plans for severe hazards. Annual. That means they want to do this shit every year. I know. Why EarthX? Because it's a come as you are exercise. If they play Nirvana at any point during this exercise, someone needs to punch someone in the throat. I don't care who punches who, just someone needs to punch somebody. Promise? Promise? Promise. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So it keeps talking about examining preparedness and response. I don't, like all of these things, they're being very vague, They're vague on their websites because they don't want people like us to know what they're actually doing, It's an out-of-the-box senior level exercise. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? An out-of-the-box, come as you are. What the fuck? What? The fuck are you talking about? God. Will provide opportunities to integrate cross-sector requirements. Words? We're going to put a bunch of big words on the page. Tell us what's really happening. Are you guys going to make the fucking country go dark to scare a bunch of people or what? What are you doing? Is that your fucking plan? Priorities. Executive and senior operational decision making. They can't already do that? They're executives and seniors. They should be able to do that. Oh, let's move on. Okay, so this page is supposed to give us more information. Guess what? It doesn't. But my favorite thing is this. August 12th, venue, Earth. Again, please, someone punch someone in the throat. Please. Oh, Cunty Cuntingtons, all up in this bitch. So this basically says the same thing that the webpage that I just read says. It doesn't really have anything new. It just tells us who is going to be participating, which is basically everyone. In the private sector, we've got electric, oil, natural gas, water, wastewater, first responders, information management, situation awareness, other private sector corporations. I don't know what that means. Probably Starbucks is what I'm guessing. Maybe Jamba Juice. I don't know. Government sector, U.S. and allied government departments and agencies, federal, state, and local, energy, emergency management, critical infrastructure, security, defense. You know what that means. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and your Coast Guard too. And don't forget the boys in blue, health and regulatory, mass care NGOs, and individuals, whatever the fuck that means. Probably you and me. I know. Vague as fuck, right? I know. So here, exercise description, okay? EarthX will advance through the following 3 dynamic phases, followed by the final lessons, imagined, assessment, and feedback phase. Phase 1 kicks off on a day 3, okay? Widespread power outage, no solution. Starts off in a you're fucked phase, okay? It's basically where you're going to kick off. Phase 2, day 4 to 6. Widespread power outage, critical decisions, assessment, and actions. Oops. Assessment and actions. Oh, fuck you. Phase 3, day 15. Apparently that needs that. He's fucking the dumbest motherfucker typed this shit up. I'll show you in a second. Ongoing widespread power outage. Black start. Yeah. Hold that in your little mental side note. Communications, cross-sector coordination. Phase 4, lessons and Magned. Lessons and Magned. Assessment and feedback. No copy editors were used in the making of this. So, yeah, vague and more vagueness. But here, remember participating sectors from over here? Remember this? Participating sector? Yeah, remember this? Individuals. Individuals and families. Families. Well, that's interesting. Do you guys remember your families being invited to participate in this? Because it's invitation only, remember? Though thankfully it's come as you are, so you don't need to change your clothes or anything. Yeah. This is just a drill, right, guys? Right? 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 Come as you are. It's an opportunity for executive and senior operational managers in all critical lifeline sectors to review, develop, and extend the policies and procedures for responding to a long-duration power outage. I mean, are they just going to cut the power and wait and see what we all do? You know? Is that what they're going to do? Is that how they're going to figure this out? I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's stuff that makes you wonder because, you know, and here they get into starting to get to the details of what this phase 1, day 3 is, you know. Voltage collapse has occurred. All sites do not have backup power more than 72 hours. Diesel fuel is offline. Millions without power. Electric subsist. Where's the thing I'm looking for? Here we are. Phase 3. Electric subsector has completed the detailed assessment and a black start cranking path must be determined and assembled. Black start cranking path. I wish I knew what that was, don't you? Because that seems like it might be an important thing to them. Public prioritization of critical lifeline sectors. Medical, water. I wish I knew what that was. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, here's another thing they talk about is EarthX is designed to be delivered virtually using electronic tools, which is interesting because I thought there was supposed to be no electricity. So, you know, one of the things that we need to talk about is the reasons this could happen, right? Black sky hazard. Okay. So we have EMP, right? We know about the EMPs. Nuclear detonation, or, you know, we have the IEMI device, cyber terrorism, coordinated physical assault, natural disaster. Okay, we got seismic event. Here's what I want to talk about, okay? Because this is a very telling thing right here. Geomagnetic disturbance, severe space weather. Okay, so typically many times a year the sun ejects a portion of its coronal mass into space. If the highly come on. It jerks off into space. NASA is run by a bunch of teenage boys. It's if the highly energetic, electrically and magnetically charged matter characteristic of these coronal mass ejections, encounters the Earth, it distorts the Earth's geomagnetic field, inducing potentially damaging GICs, which are geomagnetically induced currents, in long transmission lines and transformers, the ligaments of a national scale power grid. Okay, so why is this important? Let's jump down here, because down here they talk about when this has happened in modern times, right? Because apparently these coronal mass ejaculations happen relatively frequently, right? They say every 100 to 200 years, okay? And one of the most recent ones was the Carrington Event. You guys remember the Carrington? You guys have read about that, right? You've heard about that? Oh, you haven't? Yeah, I know I hadn't either. Carrington Event occurred in 1859, okay? that was one of the biggest CMEs in recent history. So I did some research on the Carrington Event, okay? And it's really interesting because the Carrington Event, which is the solar storm of 1859, and it's so funny because, you know, supposedly what happened is, you know, I mean, the grid was small then, but, you know, it like takes out the grid. It wipes out telegraphs. It sets telegraph paper on fire. It shocks telegraph operators. And the interesting thing is telegraph paper became obsolete in 1856. So how paper was catching on fire in 1859 is really suspicious. So do a little bit more research. And so here's a funny thing, right? You have Encyclopedia Britannica, okay? You got a 1990 Encyclopedia Britannica. They have nothing of the Carrington Event. They have plenty in there about Richard Christopher Carrington. They don't have him as an amateur astronomer because he wasn't. He was an astronomer who graduated Cambridge, and, you know, as they say in here, I mean, he had his own observatory. He actually had 2 observatories in his life. He wasn't an amateur astronomer by any means. I mean, his discoveries are pretty profound as far as the sun goes. To call him an amateur astronomer is just absurd. But, you know, there's all this information on Richard Carrington, nothing on the Carrington Event, okay? You go back, 1990 was the last Encyclopedia Britannica printed, right? You go back on every Encyclopedia Britannica printed before that, they have nothing on the Carrington Event. But all of a sudden, 2010, it starts appearing on the internet. Yeah, I know, that's weird, right? It just starts appearing as this thing that happened. I don't think it actually happened. I think it's fucking bullshit. And I think the same can be said about, oops, I lost my pages. Where was I? I think the same can be said about the railroad storm of 1921. I think both are total bullshit. I really do. You know, so then you have this solar storm of 2012 that's supposed to be just as big as the Carrington Event, but it just happened to just miss the Earth, you know? It was a huge coronal mass ejaculation, but it, you know, just missed the Earth. Oh my God. The sun rotated around its own axis. Oh my God. Oh my God. Bullshit. Bullshit. This is all fear setup stuff. This is bullshit. This is bullshit because the sun is not a fiery ball of gas anyway, but bullshit. There was no Carrington Event. Bullshit. And how the hell could this have set telegraphs on fire? In DC is a closed, it's a closed system. Like, what? Do you know anything about DC current? Come on, guys. Come on now. So, bullshit. And if they're willing to make up that big of a lie for that, come on. I mean, let's just, come on. What are they doing here? What the hell are they doing? What are they doing? hurricane. Please tell me what hurricane could possibly take out the power, the whole country, let alone the whole fucking world. Or even or earthquake. I mean, a 7.7? Really? These people are fucking with us. You know? And this is really about Project Bluebeam, you know? Or some other bullshit. House-sized asteroid that will come damn close to Earth in October when it flies inside the moon's orbit is spotted for the first time in 5 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There. Oh, you fucking people, you know? Yeah. I don't know what happened to that page. Yeah. They just keep, you know, they keep releasing more and more. Oops, we released some UFO information. Oops, there's more UFOs. Yeah. You guys know what I think. You know, I think that this is all Project Bluebeam related, but we'll see. We'll see if that's the bullshit that they're pulling, you know? But they're up to something, you know? They are up to something. And when I see this, I see that makes me worried, you know? So be aware, you know? Be on guard tomorrow because, you know, I don't know what bullshit they're up to. I don't know what they're pulling, but you know, we already know that they are not to be trusted, and you know, we've seen in the past that when they pull their little dang, I'm all worked up. I can't think of the word. Whenever they have these things, these exercises, you know, 9/11 they had exercises, you know, Sandy Hook they had exercise. They do this, so just be aware, you know, wherever you are, be aware, keep yourself safe. Don't trust these fucking bastards because they're not to fucking be trusted. Obviously. That's it. I'm out. EarthX, keep your eyes on the bastards. Loves ya. Bye.